It is currently 6:30 on a Thursday, and I thought getting a night's rest would make this thing, whatever I have, go away, but I woke up feeling even worse than I did yesterday. So I've been banned at the rink by my partner because she said that it'd be better if I take a day off. And I know she's right, but I hate taking days off. It does present a good opportunity to try to get as much work done as I can before 10 because that's when my first class is. So I'm probably gonna cram a bunch of work in right now until like 8 or 9 and then take a nap. We are 6 minutes till 8. I just finished a rough cut, which is perfectly on time. I'm gonna pass out for like an hour or so and then get ready for classes. I still feel like a little bit of a bitch for taking today off. Ugh, I hate taking days off of training.
Let's just pretend like offer it.
I'm late. Really late. Like, there's only 10 minutes of class remaining. Kinda late. I was debating on getting a workout in after class, but since it made me feel worse yesterday and not better, I decided ultimately against it. And also, yesterday I used a total of 1, 2, 3 blankets to keep me warm. Okay, I'm gonna try to release yesterday's episode earlier today so that questions can start rolling in if anybody has any. It is currently 8:14. I've spent majority of today sleeping and studying for my midterm. That's tomorrow. The last video has been up for at least 5 or 6 hours now, so I'm guessing all the questions that are going to roll in have already rolled in. So if I miss your question in this video, I'll just respond to it manually. Okay, Shannon, you actually have 2 questions. Shannon asks, how long have you been dating Mia? We dated for a total of 8 or 9 months, give or take, and we're now on a break. I don't know how the future is going to hold up, but I'm optimistic. And your second question is, what apps do you use to edit your videos and how do you edit your videos? So the apps that I use is DaVinci Resolve. I sometimes also use After Effects, not as much anymore because it takes a lot of time. If you want to get into the video editing space, I'd recommend you download the free version of DaVinci Resolve. It is more powerful than 90% of the work you'll be doing. If you really want good integration though, then I'd actually recommend going with Premiere, but the monthly subscription is really expensive and I didn't want to pay for that. And how do you edit your videos? Okay. Let me show you. How I edit my videos is quite simple. So all my working footage is stored on an SSD. I could use a hard drive. It does have fast enough read and write speeds to properly edit on, but bringing that around is kind of scary because if you drop a hard drive, you'll lose all the footage on it. With an SSD, you don't have to worry about that, and it's also faster. If you're buying one of these, I would not recommend getting anything more than a terabyte because that is an insane amount of information to carry around. I always keep the mindset that what can fail will fail. To put that in perspective, all of the footage that I shot last month and this month added up to around 600 gigabytes, and I film every single day. And to actually edit my videos, I use a speed editor when I'm at home because it's the fastest way I've learned how to assemble a rough cut. Assembling a rough cut for one of these videos takes like 15 minutes on this thing. And to assemble the final edit, I use a traditional mouse and keyboard because it provides me with the most control. And what I spend all of my time doing pretty much is color grading, and to do that I use a color panel. This is complete overkill for this daily show. I just got it because I really needed to learn how to color grade, and having a color panel just gives me the precision that a mouse and keyboard couldn't provide. And then for like the miscellaneous, I use a Mac Studio M1 Max. It's right below the Ultra. I got it because it was cheap. It's for the chips that they get inside, it's significantly cheaper than the laptop version. If I had the money, I would get the laptop. It is significantly better, but this is overkill because you honestly could edit the same footage coming out of this camera on a MacBook Air. It's just a lot slower and you have to down-res the footage to 720p. And for the audio and stuff like that, I just bought the cheapest stuff I could find. I hope that was helpful. SB says, congratulations, consistency is key. Some great shots in this video. Thank you, SP, for being a long-time supporter of this channel, and you're definitely right, consistency is key. He asks, apart from skating, do you have any other hobbies? The only other hobby that I stay somewhat connected to is calligraphy. I've moved far away from ornamental penmanship and have been focusing more of my time on business penmanship because that's more practical to my day-to-day life. And some of the other hobbies that I haven't really been staying in touch with is like skiing, snowboarding, swimming, and badminton. I used to love playing those sports, but honestly, I just haven't had the time or the energy in the recent years. Most of my time is now focused on making these videos, school, and training. Alec, a longtime friend of mine, asks, is it considered distracted driving to drive and film? And the short answer is yes. Yes, it is. I've gotten pulled over for it once, and I was lucky that the cop only left me off with a warning, but the fines are significantly less than if you're distracted with a phone. It still doesn't make it any safer, and I actually don't recommend anybody do it because the risk to reward is wildly unproportional. Okay, the funny thing is when you see a shot of me driving, that's probably like the 5th or 6th take that you're watching, because most of the time all the time, I just stick my arm out and hope that I get the shot, because I never look at the camera while I'm driving, which is the obvious thing to do. And if I miss the shot, then I just miss the shot. John Appleman asks, can you guess who I am? No, Samaya? I really hope that I'm pronouncing her name right. Samaya asks, what inspired you to start a channel? Okay. When I started this channel, I was in a really dark spot. I just got kicked out a few months prior, and I was on the cusp of failing high school. I wasn't going to fail high school because I had terrible grades. In fact, I had really good grades, but I was just really butting heads with the administration. Things just weren't working out, and I wasn't going to finish the classes that I needed to finish to graduate. So I kind of started this channel as a response because I felt like my voice wasn't being heard by my parents and the administration. A second kind of smaller reason was because I thought that I could monetize a channel really easily. I was really naive at the time because I thought growing a YouTube channel would be super fast and simple. That couldn't be further from the truth, because to grow a channel, you have to make work that people care about. As easy as that sounds, that's incredibly difficult. Your first videos will probably be terrible. I know my first videos were absolutely garbage. I don't know why anybody would have watched those, but it's a learning process. Lance Chan asks, how do you gain confidence filming in front of friends/strangers in public? Okay, that's actually a two-part question. Filming in front of strangers in public is actually really easy because you don't know them, they don't know you, and their opinion of you ultimately doesn't matter. If anything, you're just creating an interesting scene for them to think about. That's why they stare. The most vivid memory I have of this is when I was full sprinting through the Toronto airport. It looks super natural in camera, but I just can't imagine how strange I looked. I was holding a camera in front of me, full sprinting, and talking about how I was about to miss my flight. I remember hearing people laugh. If I can make someone's day brighter by making a ridiculous scene like that, then I think it's totally worth it. The second part of this question, filming in front of friends, that's the hard part. Filming in front of friends and especially acquaintances is incredibly difficult for me. In fact, I don't like filming in front of friends because, well, I find that it takes me out of the moment, and when I'm with them, I just want to hang out with them. That's why when I meet up with someone, you often see a time lapse in place of that. Filming in front of acquaintances, I'm still not really comfortable with that because, well, that's why I find it really difficult to film on campus, because acquaintances are people that you kind of know, but they're the first ones to pass judgment. Friends will always support you. Acquaintances pass judgment because they don't know you that well and they don't want to take the time to know you. The thing that I keep on having to tell myself, their judgment is because they don't understand, and people judge what they don't understand. If they actually want to take the time and talk to you, most of the time they're actually really, really nice about it and super uplifting. So that's why I just keep telling myself. That's still a barrier that I have to cross. I know I'll eventually cross it, but it just takes time. Oh, also one thing to help film in public, one thing that really helped me is creating a movie that had really high stakes attached to it. That inflection point came when I created that movie for Mia, because getting the shots was more important than looking dumb in public. So if you try to create a movie that has really high stakes, then that might help. The last question of the evening comes from the View868. YouTube has suggested this video. I respect you, bro. Any advice for daily vlogging? By the way, I hope you feel better and get some vitamin C. Thank you. Okay, so advice for daily vlogging. The most important factor of creating a sustainable daily show is you have to have efficient systems in place. And I don't mean that just in the post-production process. I also mean that in filming. What most people don't know is I actually tried creating this daily show twice, and my first time was an abysmal failure. That's because I thought I knew what I was doing, but in reality I didn't, and you don't really find out until after you start. I used to never carry my camera around religiously. I'd literally only film like 1 or 2 talking pieces and then like 5 clips of b-roll. That's what I'd package into a video. So as a result, the videos were like 1 to 2 minutes long. So there's definitely a learning curve that goes from uploading once a week to every single day. Also, something else to keep in mind is I always try to depict my life as accurately as possible, because you can make today interesting, you can make tomorrow interesting, you can make the day after tomorrow interesting, but you can't make a month interesting. My first 20 videos was a struggle, a real struggle, because I felt like I was repeating the same thing over and over and over again, which in reality I was, because my life is really structured. So to make these videos as interesting as possible, I just continually try to innovate on the execution, trying to find new angles and new ways of shooting things. All right, that is the end of the Q&A. I really hope it was somewhat informative. I love doing Q&As because it feels like it's one of the most direct ways I can interact with you guys, the audience who view my work. So thank you for leaving all of your questions in the comment sections down below. I'll probably be doing one of these again in the distant future, but I really hope that I can make it a regular thing. Thank you. Definitely still not feeling great, but I don't have time to be sick. There's just so much that I need to get done. I am really excited to get back to training tomorrow.